All right, we've been gone a little bit. It's now the new year, so allow me to just reintroduce our podcast. We want this to be your go-to place for all the SNL news, announcements, and of course,
Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep. Statistic.
More on that later. Hey, Caroline, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well. It's 2025. We made it to 2025.
Against all odds.
Yeah, how about that? It is freezing cold where both of us are. So I've got the heat cranking because I can't wear anything else but my show shirt. It's not like I can put a sweater on. So it's not a true episode unless I've got the striped shirt.
Yeah.
How's it been? How's it going? Any updates from your part of town?
Not too many updates. I finally took off my boot, so the
Good.
ankle is on the mend. I'm wearing a brace, but no
Okay.
more boot.
Brace is better than boot. Okay.
Yes.
I've never broken a bone, so in the succession, we're saying brace, good sign, boot
Yes.
in the past.
I think it goes like cast, boot, brace.
Gotcha. And then freedom.
And then
shoot.
yeah, which they said could be in 6 months. I don't.
Well,
they really can't give me an answer.
No. Well, what was the brace timeline? Did you beat the odds there?
He just told me to wear one when I'm walking a lot.
Okay. Well,
I was like,
how you gonna know?
I haven't been walking at all because I had the boot. So
Right. So define a lot.
What's a lot?
Yeah. I gotta get Timothy Chalamet off of there. Okay.
Yes,
Our
please.
screen share is scary. It's now 2025. It's the big anniversary year. We've been counting down to this all along, and we've made it. We're here. Yeah, we got the 50th anniversary coming up very soon. There's all kinds of stuff we'll update you on. I guess we should just get started. How about that?
Yeah.
And apologies if I start hiccuping out of nowhere. I think I've passed. I think the moment has passed. But now that I've drawn attention to it, it's probably coming back. So get ready. I was hiccuping like crazy before we started the recording. For all of you
It's true.
just joining us. Yeah. Caroline knows. Caroline was there. Okay, so the first big thing that we need to talk about is this documentary series, Peacock documentary series entitled Beyond Saturday Night that was just announced like literally last week, and then it's already coming on the 16th, today, quote unquote, because that's when I think I'm going to release this episode. We'll see what future Kirby thinks. But yeah, this was a thrill to hear about for sure.
Yeah, I was excited. I guess I didn't consider that they'd be doing any kind of retrospectives apart from the 50th anniversary special. So this is fun. I'm excited to see what new information we get.
That I was just gonna say that, like, you and I, we've probably seen, and probably the 25 people watching this, we've all probably heard and seen all of the stories and the clips and whatever about SNL through the years. So yeah, that was my first thought, is like, will this be any more enlightening to us than it already is? I know it's going to be fascinating for, like the average viewer. So
yeah,
and trust me, I'm going to watch every second as quickly as I can. So they're not going to lose me, that's for sure.
No.
But yeah, this was a cool little surprise. And the fact that it's so much, because I think they did a documentary leading up to the 40th, but it was like a theatrical release. It was very tough to find in streaming after the fact. So it was very short in comparison to this 4-episode deal. But yeah, there's a lot of history to discuss. So I'm glad they're taking the room for it.
Yes.
One interesting thing. So, would you like me to read you the episode titles and descriptions while we're here? While we're thinking about what's to come today on Peacock?
Let's do it.
So, the first episode is entitled 5 Minutes, and it's about the auditions and the audition process. So that's an interesting one. This one's called Written By. Episode 2 is called Written By, A Week Inside the SNL Writers' Room.
That one I'm very intrigued by, because I feel like that might be the part of it that I know the least
Hmm.
about,
Yeah.
that side of it.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see that one. Obviously, it's going to be like great stories and stuff. And did you ever see James Franco's Saturday Night film? It was like while he was a student at, I want to say NYU, he got access at SNL to like record a week of
Oh,
producing the show. Oh,
I
it's
don't.
very good.
I've
I'll send
never.
you a link after
Yeah.
this.
Okay. Yeah. I've never. I didn't even know he did that, but it doesn't surprise me that he did that, because there
Yeah,
was that period of time where he was just kind of around.
right. Just taking classes at anywhere. Yeah.
Being on soap operas
Yep.
and yeah.
But yeah, produced by James Franco and like a couple of partners in the class. I don't know, but that does have that also has a really interesting look at like they follow a couple of sketches in particular of the writing
Oh, okay.
process, or he shows a couple of them being pitched, and then like we cut into like John Mulaney and Bill Hader's office. They're working on something. Paula Pell's working on another thing. Will Forte's working on another thing.
Mm.
um, and then uh, continue to follow those pieces through the Thursday, Friday rehearsals. Any pre-tapes, they covered that a little bit, and then the dress rehearsal and the show. So it's a really interesting, like, people can talk about it all you want, but to actually see something like that get formed for a real episode of SNL.
Yeah.
In that case, they were following the episode hosted by John Malkovich in 2008.
Okay.
So just an interesting
Yeah.
look at how all that comes together. Like you, instead of hearing about people popping into each other's offices and being like, "Hey, I have this idea," you
Hmm.
literally see it happen. So yeah, that's a very good. I'll send you that. I'll be sure to send you that link because I watch it like probably a good like once a year. It's that
Hmm.
like, and there's always something I like catch when I see it again. So it's a good
Okay.
watch.
Nice.
But yeah, so this episode of the documentary is going to be very good too, and makes sense. It's a pillar of the show. A lot
Yeah.
like auditioning. You gotta
Yeah.
audition to get on. You gotta write something to get on.
Hmm.
The the second two episodes are oddly specific in my opinion. The
Okay.
first one is called More Cowbell.
Yeah. Okay. I do remember seeing that when I was reading about this.
Yeah,
When I was
which
reading the announcement. Is it just only about that one
it is only
sketch?
about the cowbell sketch,
Okay.
which is interesting. I
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there enough lore
Right.
around the cowbell sketch to put that over the finish line? I guess we'll find out today.
I
You
guess
know,
is that does that mean that the people at SNL believe that that is like the SNL sketch,
maybe
like that's the one.
right. That could be the assumption. And for people who maybe don't keep up with the show, it was only good back in this day. We can all pretty
Right,
much
yeah.
rally around the fact that like cowbell is a great sketch.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
so that could be
Yeah, I
part
guess
of
if
it.
you're looking at mass appeal, that one
Yeah,
might have been, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but when I first saw the episode title, I was like, okay, I what I thought it was going to be was more of a look at several different sketches, maybe like let's say
Hmm.
10, that defined the
Yeah.
show, or not even defined the show, but at least had people talking about it,
Hmm.
and more like the title "More Cowbell" really hinting towards a phenomenon
Right.
of an SNL sketch's potential to explode like it did, and
Hmm.
not literally just
That one.
that one.
That one,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So again, I am fascinated to know more.
Hmm.
If there is more to know, that's the key.
Yeah. Yeah. How long are these episodes? How in depth are we going on cowbell?
I would assume it's a lot like most documentaries you'll find on like streaming services is probably going to be like 45-minute episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Hey, again, like I said, I'm gonna be seated one way or the other.
Yeah.
And then the last one is called Season 11, The Weird Year.
Ooh, okay.
Which is I made the same
Yeah.
Most people probably wouldn't know
Mm-hmm.
a lot about that particular season, and even like me, I mean, I like to think I know the show pretty well. I don't really know that season. The biggest thing that I know from here's basically everything I know about season 11. It's not much, so you'll be fine. You, the viewer. Robert Downey Jr. was a cast member.
Okay.
Just that 1 year. Joan Cusack was a cast member. Just that 1 year. There were a lot of single-year cast members. It ended. The last sketch of the season was they all died in a fire. The whole cast died in a fire, and then Lorne Michaels ends up escaping and takes only John Lovitz out. And says, "Come on, we gotta go." And then it rolls credits on like the room in flames. Crazy. And then like John Lovitz was just about the only person to actually make it to the next season, so it was a pretty brutal like thing to put in there. Terry Sweeney was also in the cast at this time. His only appearance, or his only season. And then there was an episode hosted by George Wendt that was co-hosted by Francis Ford Coppola.
Yes.
And he is credited as the director of that episode. And it is very strange, very like filmy.
Yeah.
And just it's a really bizarre one, and I feel like that episode probably encapsulates the whole feeling of season 11 pretty well. And it was Lorne Michaels' first season back after leaving in the 70s. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what Peacock's description says. It says the pivotal year that reset the show's direction and cemented its enduring DNA with Lorne Michaels at the helm. So in a way, not the start of the show, but the start of what we now know the show to be.
Right.
So really interesting choices. Like, surprised we don't get a first 5 years episode. Maybe the feeling was that they've kind of beat that pretty good.
Maybe. With the movie just coming out and...
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't even think about the movie. That story has literally been told very recently.
Right, we don't need a first episode.
Yeah. Because I feel like everybody, even casual people, know the impact of that first. It wouldn't still be around today if the first couple of seasons weren't, really good.
Yeah.
And then what else was I gonna say? Shoot, what was I gonna say? Let me ponder on that.
I have a fun fact I can.
Oh, go ahead.
Share. George Wendt, uncle to Jason Sudeikis.
I think I've heard that is crazy.
Isn't that weird?
Everything's connected.
They all are. It's
They're
so
all
crazy.
Connected. Yeah, that's such a bizarre. There's like a through line to maybe Jason Sudeikis is going to talk about his Uncle George hosting a season 11 episode.
Could be.
Maybe. Hey, another thing I noticed, I looked on the IMDb for this. There's only a handful of people who are credited in more than one episode of this docuseries.
Interesting.
So let me pull it up again.
So it's going to be pretty like this person comes in to talk about this one thing and then...
I guess, but it's interesting because Tom Hanks appears in one episode of this thing. Will Ferrell appears in one episode. I think we know which one it is. These people who were like Andy Samberg, who are like all over the show.
Oh, I wonder.
Are only getting one appearance, but here are the 5 that appear in 2 episodes. Okay. Fred Armisen, Robert Smigel, Al Franken, James Downey, and Louis Zakarian, the head of the makeup department.
Okay.
So you're probably talking with Robert Smigel, the writer's room, and season 11. That would have been his first season.
I would think so.
The same for Jim Downey. He was there for season 11 as well. So really, I'm just interested by the structure of it. I'm interested what they, on a macro sense, decided to cover. These are just the mastheads. This is just the big subject. Clearly, they think that these 4 bullet points are going to cover the story of the show well enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll be interested to see all these play out. Again, they are available today on Peacock. It's January 16th for the people that are watching. Just so you know, Caroline. Just so you're not like, wait a second, hold on.
I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Bye, Caroline. Have fun watching. Do you? We're coming up with this podcast on the fly, just as we go. Do we recap these as well? Do we count this as part of our experience, our season 50 experience?
I mean, why not?
I think it'd be kind of fun. We will probably end up, even if we didn't set out to do it, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to be talking about this.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for that. I think we'll be doing some recapping in the near future. So this one hasn't really gotten the same press. Like, I haven't seen a commercial for it really. One might come because it's still 2 weeks away, but there is another television documentary before the big 50th anniversary event, and that is it's called Ladies and Gentlemen, the 50 Years of SNL Music. This is produced by Questlove and directed by Oz Rodriguez, who was a pre-tape director like back in the day. I also heard he oversaw the production of the I don't know if you remember this, but a little bit after the 40th season, they started releasing these short YouTube documentaries called Creating Saturday Night Live.
Yes, I do remember
He did those as well.
Okay.
So, clearly very familiar with SNL, and then like Questlove definitely knows his music. He has an Oscar for a music documentary. So this is going to be really good. And
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it's not like been around as much as maybe I'm in the wrong circles, but I haven't
seen really any advertising about it.
Yeah, and I've seen the Peacock commercial quite a bit. So definitely hit this one up too. This is another one we can recap. I think that'd be fun. And let's see, airing January 27th. Sadly, Timothée Chalamet will not make the cut for this premiere.
You mean Bob Dylan?
Bob Dylan, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to ruin the illusion here. Jesus. More on that later. But like, we will have to address what we think he's doing on the show.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's January 27th, ladies and gentlemen, 50 years of SNL music. And then the third big 50th anniversary like thing, again, like we're really ramping up here. It's a downhill slide into the in terms of picking up momentum. I wouldn't say emotionally we're going downhill. I'm excited. But they unveiled an in-person Saturday Night Live experience. I don't know whether to call it an experience or an exhibit or what exactly it is. But I can reveal on this podcast that I have tickets to it. So I will come back and relay my story after February 2nd.
Exciting.
And so all the questions that I have and we all have right now, I'd be happy to answer them after February 2nd at 3 p.m.
Good.
4 p.m. maybe. But yeah, like the two big things they've said are like, see what it feels like to hit the stage as your name is announced and slide into the desk on
Oh
Weekend
no.
Update. And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
is this figurative? This
No,
feels
I bet it
figurative.
isn't.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, if I end up with a video out of
Yeah.
all this, I will play it in its entirety. I promise.
I think that you will get some type of video.
We'll see. They did something like this for the 40th, but it was a museum exhibit. It was like a
Mm,
walkthrough thing. I actually ended up going to that as well when it was here in 2015. I like took a New York trip, happened to still be around, and that one it was cool. It was like there was a wing about the costumes. They had like iconic set pieces. I stood behind the Jeopardy podium,
nice.
posed on the old like Seth Meyers Weekend Update set. I'll put all these pictures in. I know I have them somewhere. Then it culminated in kind of a small scale replica of the studio. It definitely wasn't like the same.
Hmm.
But you had the chairs on the floor and like the different stages, and then they had Tina Fey was in like a video, a projection, and came out and like talked about the history and showed some videos and stuff. It was a great like
Yeah.
museum entry, but that was like a very temporary thing. This is a lot different, at least it sounds like. Ultimately, probably not too different. We'll see.
Probably not. It's probably mostly museum, but it does sound like at some point you'll write your name on a piece of paper and then they'll
Yeah.
announce you as you walk on out.
I guess. Okay. Well, I will report back literally. And then yeah, so that actually took. I found out today. That takes the place of. Do you remember the Tonight Show did like a Halloween thing? Um,
Think
a walk
so.
through like haunted house sort of thing. It was called Tonightmares.
Okay.
This exhibit is where Tonightmares used to be.
Okay.
So they ripped Tonightmares out on November 1st and started building whatever this is.
Hmm.
Right now, that's only, if anybody's listening from New York, that's only available January 30th to February 2nd. It's
Ooh.
possible that they are adding more dates, but
I feel
that's
like
all
they
we got
would
right now.
at the very least do it right up until the 50th special.
That would make sense.
Maybe a couple more weeks.
Right. Yeah, or just taking those next few weekends.
Yeah.
Let me check a calendar. So the SNL, they are off the weeks that is open. I don't know if that has anything to do with
I think you're
anything.
gonna
Yeah, so the Timothy Chalamet. Oh, I'm sorry. I said earlier that the documentary the Timothy Chalamet clips could not make it into the SNL music documentary. They totally can.
they can.
They hopefully can cover at least even just a few frames of the Timothy Chalamet on, as the musical guest on SNL. But yeah, so they're off the week that this is open. Surely, like that's just a crowd control measure.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that maybe you don't get any more weekends of this right away.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, look, we don't know. We literally don't know. I'll know a little more after I've walked through and somebody says my name, apparently. But
Or some poor NBC page has to push you out to the update desk.
right, it's just before I go out, like, hey, I'm sorry about this.
Yeah.
I'm having fun, but I realize, I'm imposing here. No, it's gonna be fun, and the whole. Oh, by the way, if you're looking to get in on that, whole thing is free. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's through One Iota, like the audience website. A lot of TV shows use that to fill their studio audiences, and this was an experience you could book through them.
You should have told me. I would have flown out.
Well, you still can. Hold on. Wait a second, Caroline. We're gonna be like the go-to. This is how people are gonna know what happened. It's gonna be
Yeah.
our story.
We're reporting.
You have like 15 days to 16 days to get this this set up. So just saying.
I'll look into it.
Okay. Look into it. We'll make the announcement here if it works out.
February in Iowa was a tough time to try to get on an airplane weather-wise.
To bank
kind
on
of a
the
gamble.
fact, that it will get off the ground, you know.
Yeah.
So hey, we'd love to have you. But I do get it if it's not in the cards. That's why I wish it was like, and I'm sure a lot of people wish it was more than just one weekend.
Yeah.
Because that's tough, such short notice for people to like make it here in time. Could be another crowd control measure.
Probably.
If you make it less accessible, you don't have to turn as many people away and crash your website.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I'll be very excited to report back on that. All right, now a moment we've all been waiting for, the moment that triggered this very recording. In fact, we got some announcements, and allow me to do. This is my one-man show. My first reactions when I saw this tweet come up. I'm gonna go in order here. Oh, huh? Oh. Thank you so much. What first reactions here? Looking at our landscape for the first part of January.
Yeah, looking it up when it came out, that first read, wasn't thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say I was excited to see that. Disappointed, not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one, confused. Thought typo maybe. Are we just letting him do that? Whose idea? You know. I liked it when Timothy hosted the last couple times. I think he does a fun job.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to see him do Bob Dylan? No.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about it.
Yeah. So these were perplexing, and I think your thing about the typo was right on. I think I saw the post very shortly after it came up, and so when I saw it, I was like, oh, I have seen an error. I've seen an error picture.
Yeah.
So I clicked on it to go into the tweet, and I fully expected to see this tweet has been deleted on the bottom.
Yeah.
And when I didn't see that, I was like, what are they trying to do here? Do they know something we don't?
I just I don't really have the words. Why?
I am keeping an open mind. It's a fascinating decision. We'll see.
I saw somebody on Twitter, I wish I'd saved it, said this is either going to be the most genius Oscar marketing campaign we've ever seen, or it'll backfire horribly.
Tank it all. Yeah.
And I was like, I think those are the only options. Yeah. There's no world in which Timothy Chalamet performing in character as Bob Dylan is just okay. Like, it's not, there's no, like, that's not going to be like, I saw it, it was fine.
Yeah. This is not a middle of the road kind of thing. This is going to be very polarizing.
Yeah. But it's honestly on track with whatever he's been doing for this movie. Just popping up in all of these different places. I'm like, yeah, sure, be the musical guest.
Yeah.
Sure.
If this is gonna prove that like he was doing it live in the movie. He just wants to set the record straight. Like, no, this was me, you know? Promise.
Yeah. Oh.
Who knows?
This is like if they had let Austin Butler do Elvis songs on
which
his
I'm sure
episode.
They thought about.
I'm sure
technically he did. Because the send-off for Cecily Strong.
Oh, yeah. Bummer.
He did hit her with a little Blue Christmas.
That's a bummer. Yeah. I didn't like that. I didn't like his whole Elvis deal.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess as long as Timothy doesn't adopt Bob Dylan's speaking voice in his normal life, then it's okay.
So far, I think he's stayed away from it. I listened to, he was on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and I was like, you know what? That's just insane enough to try.
Mm-hmm.
And I pressed play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, let's take these one at a time, shall we? First up, this was the booking we all knew was coming,
Yep.
but maybe not everyone was excited about.
They cannot help themselves. I don't.
I get the 2016 version of it
Mm-hmm.
all.
Yeah.
That was huge. Him coming back was incredible. He had not done any TV, to my understanding, for 10 years.
Probably since his show ended. Yeah.
Probably since the show. And so getting him back for that was incredible, and it was a good season for it to happen, because I think season 42, which was the 2016 election year, was maybe their strongest in several years up to that point.
Yeah.
So to have such a fresh, sharp comedic mind come take a turn too resulted in one of the best episodes, maybe the best episode of that decade, I would think. In stiff competition to Eddie Murphy and Lizzo.
There's an argument to be made for that, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just there's a lot more going on there at this point. I don't think people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who he is now and what he his whole deal now, I can't believe they still he was it this season? Or no, it was just been last season. Where he was just at Good Nights for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's just good friends with people there. I mean, and maybe it's the same thing as Alec Baldwin. He's just good friends with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're calling him up. I don't. I don't know. It feels a little tone deaf to me, but I don't know that the bookers are. Maybe he still has mass appeal. I don't.
Especially, yeah. And this booking's no accident. Now, a very dramatic and emotional, exhausting day on Monday, January 20th, is going to be immediately preceded by maybe the tensest monologue SNL has ever aired.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Again,
that one's going to be dicey, I think.
Yeah. I like when stand-ups do the SNL monologues, because they will say anything.
Yeah.
There are a few people who go up there and you're just like, ooh, okay, whatever, what are we going to listen to today? But this one's definitely going to go places, I think.
I don't think it's going to be good. I think he cannot help himself, and he's going to say, I don't know.
Just more
he's going to say lots of
rantings than anything.
Yeah, icky stuff.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's the Dave Chappelle. I don't have opinions on Glorilla. Do you? I don't either. I don't think I've heard anything. I mean, that will be, from what I understand about Glorilla's music, that will be more of a party kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a good, evening out of tones.
Balance it a little bit, maybe. Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. If nothing else, but so this will be, just for numbers' sake, this will be Dave Chappelle's fourth time, his second non-election episode. Actually, you know what? Might be his first non-election episode. Let's see when the season 48 hosting was. Oh yeah, this is his first time not hosting immediately after an American election. In 2022, it was after.
It was after the midterms. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But still tied to a political event, just not an election this time.
Yeah.
They trust him to do the politically difficult episodes, I guess.
Yeah.
I still think that damn Aunt Jemima sketch, where Maya Rudolph plays Aunt Jemima,
yes,
might be my favorite one of season 46. I'm giving my sketch of the season badge for season 46 to Aunt Jemima. There's just something so good about the serious tone that he starts that sketch with.
Yeah.
Where he's like, there's a lot of people out of work. Some people may never get those jobs back, and this piece is about them. And it's like this very depressing, sad thing, and then obviously the reveal, but I'm Aunt Jemima, is genius.
Yeah.
But sadly, the days of that tone being possible, I think, are not here anymore.
Yeah, it'll
just
be
because
interesting.
He's too controversial. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then Glorilla's first time.
Yes.
So we have a fourth timer and a first timer. Now we can talk about Timothée Chalamet all we want. This is going to be so strange, but honestly, I'm going to be laughing at my TV the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, the reasonable assumption here is that he's going to do the Bob Dylan covers.
Right.
Which is fine. I think just a little, Easter egg to his, YouTube persona would be very funny.
It would be.
Yeah, and I think the crowd would know immediately if he threw something like that in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Just one uttering of the word statistics, and everybody's on board.
Yeah. I mean, I like him. I like when he hosts. I think it'll be fun. His tiny horse sketch is one of my favorite of the last few years. Whatever season that was in, that can be my best of that season badge.
Okay.
I love that one.
That would have been the same season 46.
Oh, well, there we go. Season 46. We both got our season 46 badges
exactly.
in. Yeah.
You know what? Maybe that... So we'll recap the documentaries, and then one day we will recap all of season 46 and relive that fever dream. Tiny Horse destined to become a trilogy for sure.
Right. I don't know how they heighten it from the last one, but I think they can try.
We'll find a way. Yeah. And
Do we think we get Bob Dylan, actual Bob Dylan?
That'd be kind of fun. We had a Bob Dylan impression from James Austin Johnson, not in a sketch, but in a promo.
He did it in a sketch too, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Oh, he may have.
Maybe it was in the Paul Mescal episode, so maybe it's a newer one.
Okay.
But he did it again in a sketch recently. Mm-hmm. But gotcha. He pulled that out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it's...
Right. Now they're like, wait, hey, he has a Bob Dylan.
So do we get all three of them?
Oh, Lord. Oh, that's too much Dylan. Woo!
Kind of like what they did with Jennifer Coolidge in the Ariana Grande, but
Okay, here's what I would enjoy.
Okay.
The same exact sketch.
But they're
3 Bob Dylans. But it's still for Maybelline. Yeah. It's just Bob Dylan's.
They're in
that outfits. Would be fun.
Yeah, I would like it. I would like it.
Here's a fun fact. I want to say this, and then I want to let the moment land, okay? Now, I haven't researched this much, but, best I can tell, here's the fact. This will be the first time a musical guest without a studio album, excluding soundtracks, has appeared on the show since the Blues Brothers in 1978. And even then, those are the only 2.
Does it count as him having a... Well, no, I guess that'd be a soundtrack.
He would have the Wonka soundtrack
coming out.
And the Into the Unknown. That's a song from Frozen. What's it called?
A Complete Unknown.
A Complete Unknown, thanks.
The Bob Dylan story. A Complete Unknown.
A Complete Unknown, yeah. I don't know. This doesn't happen to have an unestablished... He's not entirely unestablished, I'll give you that. But, they don't they didn't... Jake Gyllenhaal has sang in every monologue of his.
He doesn't get to...
But he's never been a musical guest.
Right.
It's very interesting.
I was trying to look and see if there were how many other non-musicians have done
Mm-hmm.
this, if there are any other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find anybody that really fit like this structure,
Mm.
but I did find 2 times that the host also performed. The first one was Gary Busey in
Whoa.
season 4. He had a band, I guess, and they did a song in his episode, but they also had like a musical guest. But then his band performed also. I don't.
Weird.
And
And
then
what was
the
the other
other
one?
one, Deion Sanders.
Oh.
But he had an album out.
He had an album, right?
So he
He wasn't.
performed from his album, but there was also someone credited as the musical guest. Like there was somebody else that had that spot. So he
Here,
wasn't
wait.
even.
Let's look
That
this
was in
up.
season 20.
20, yeah. SNL 20. Um,
Middle of the season, maybe.
yeah.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
But then, yes, Deion Sanders.
And then Deion Sanders performs a medley of Must Be the Money, and It's On. Wow. So, yeah, not quite the same.
Nobody's ever done like this.
Yeah, being billed as the musical guest.
And I don't know that anybody's ever, if this is what he does, and I think it's safe to assume it is, because it'd be insane if he doesn't first to do like it in character.
To see the Bob Dylan impression before he does it on
I just
in the
mean like
musical performance?
to do the musical performance in character as opposed to just, like I don't know if anybody is the Blues Brothers, but
yeah. Well, that has happened before, but again, this person had an album.
Okay.
Garth Brooks hosted with musical guest Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
And
that's I
that's
love
the
that.
only time I can think of someone performing in character other than like the Blues Brothers and
right.
things like that.
Because even like Lady Gaga never did it for A Star Is Born, which is kind of surprising. I feel like that would have, but I guess she was. I don't know if you ever saw it. She was on SNL in the movie.
In the movie, right?
That's her character.
Yeah, with host Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Alec Baldwin, and what was her character's name?
Allie.
Allie.
Ally. Could be ally. I don't know.
The ally. Yeah, who knows? But that's another great example of like what would count is if Bradley Cooper was a musical guest for A Star Is Born, and like he wasn't, because that just doesn't happen.
Especially, and the really crazy thing is like that's a character. Timothy Chalamet is gonna be like Bob Dylan exists. Like, you can't make him up. Well,
we could call him.
It'd be like if like Rami Malek had performed Queen songs.
Yeah.
Or if Taron Egerton had performed Elton John songs. Like, it's odd.
Yep. And like, yeah, two great examples, and there have been other biopics in the past, Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash, and then like you could go back and back and back, but Timothy Chalamet is the first one that gets the honor of performing in his movie character.
And I'm wondering, who did the bookers pitch it to him, or did he pitch it to them?
I think
there's idea?
Really good agents out there who are just like, this is gonna be big. It's gonna get people talking.
I mean, it's working.
We're talking all right.
That's all I've been talking about.
I'm
still processing it.
Yeah, me too. And it gets asses in seats and eyes on screens.
So many people are gonna be watching that to be like, what is this gonna like? What is he doing?
Yeah, because it's one thing to go to the movie and see him perform in the movie, but to see him literally live is a whole other deal for him and us. I think the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I'm gonna have a blast.
It's gonna be fun. I do not like Bob Dylan. I don't like his music. I'm like, I wish it was anyone else.
Yeah.
But
again,
it'll be fun.
Timmy Tim could take over for the second song.
I guess I would rather see Timothy Chalamet sing the Bob Dylan songs than Bob Dylan.
Real Bob Dylan.
Sing the Bob Dylan songs, which I might not get that lucky. He might show up.
He could.
We'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did. And another thing that we can pretty much seal right now, Pete Davidson will probably show up
they'll do
for
their
like
little
the hip hop TV show, like talk show.
Yes.
I'm sure they'll
He
be
did
back
it.
again.
Timothy did it alone last time, I think.
Really?
I don't think Pete was in it, or he.
I'll have to
This will
look that
be
up again.
Timothy's third time hosting.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say the last time Pete wasn't there.
You know what?
But
Maybe you're right.
I could be wrong. Maybe I just blocked him out.
Okay, you're right. No, Pete Davidson did not return, but that sketch did happen, right? Am I imagining that?
They did something where I don't know if I think he probably was like the same like character, whatever TikTok
Yeah.
rapper he was supposed to be.
And then obviously he did the whole. This was the episode he did the Troye Sivan impression. It's me, Troye Sivan.
Yes.
Hey, homie. Not even an attempt
No,
on a New
didn't even
Zealand
try.
accent. Nope.
I don't blame him.
With the opening line being, "Hey, homie, it's me, Troye Sivan."
I love when they don't even try an impression, so they have to introduce themselves like
Yeah, don't worry,
first,
guys.
be like, "It's me, so and so," because
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to get it from the impression.
Yeah, because I don't have a wig and I don't have an accent.
Right.
That's our shows coming up.
Yeah.
It's a thrill. Can't wait. We don't have many more episodes until the big 50th. I would say, I'd venture to guess we probably only get one more.
I would think maybe first
February
weekend
8th.
in February, and then a break, and then the special. Yeah.
Yep. Or yeah, I guess it'd be February 1st then.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what's to come, or they're just going to break it right here and say see you in March.
Yeah, they might.
Something like that did happen for the SNL 40th.
Long break.
Long break, and they actually announced the host of the next episode during that show.
Oh, I could see them doing that.
Yeah.
And
not even like a formal title card, like we usually see in episodes where they announce on the same day as an episode. It was buried in the Jerry Seinfeld Q&A.
Somebody asked who's hosting.
Well, no, Dakota Johnson gets up and says, "Hey, I'm hosting February 28th. Do you have any advice for me?" And it was like, wait, that's news. That's breaking news.
Is that real? Yeah. Dakota Johnson.
What's that?
Dakota Johnson. Like, what was she? But I guess that was 10 years ago, so.
Yeah. Well, we got a good, again, we're running. We are in full sprint.
Jam-packed the next couple months.
A lot going on.
Even just the next, 6 weeks.
I know. And all the while, I'm going to be in Boston for the next 6 weekends. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Oh, busy time at SNL, busy time for me, busy time for us.
Yeah.
And freezing cold all the while. Classic.
Love it.
Looks like we're done with the SNL portion of our show. Would you like to... Let's move on and talk about some other shows that we've been watching, because of course this is an SNL podcast, but you've had enough SNL for the time being. I think I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Do you mind? Or actually,
No,
let's see. Who did I put first on this board? It's you.
Okay.
Go ahead. What you watching? Question mark.
It's a new show on my absolute favorite streaming service, Peacock.
I mean, we're going to be all over Peacock this next month or two.
I'm telling everybody about Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making it my mission. I'm getting the word out.
Yep.
It's called Laid. It's got Stephanie Hsu as the lead. The premise is that every person that she slept with is dying in order.
Oh.
Going all the way back to college. But in meeting all of these people, you get some absolutely excellent guest stars.
Okay.
Some people from the other two. John Early as himself, as one of her former partners.
Nice.
Kate Berlant, of course, because you can't have one without the other.
Right.
Just like, Billie Eilish's brother, he pops in there for a second.
Huh.
But yeah, it's just a good time. It's only 8 episodes.
Okay.
It all came out at once. It's just like I don't know if cute's the word for it because a
Pretty
bunch of people
dark,
die.
right?
But it was very funny, and I really like Stephanie Shu, and I think this was like a really fun. It seemed like a really fun thing for her to get to do. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have too much to say about it other than that
Mhm.
it was a good time. It was a way to kill, a few hours.
Yeah. Now, is this a season one with more to come, or did this wrap up?
Yeah, they did set it up for something.
Okay.
I think it's a remake of an Australian show, I
Hmm.
believe,
Okay.
which got 2 seasons. So I guess if this does well enough, they'll do another, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, I just watched it all in like one day on the weekend when I finally got around to
Interesting.
it, and yeah, it was just a good time.
Yeah, I had seen the trailer, and I'm actually
Hmm.
curious about that because the way that it looked to me in like the 30-second ads that I had seen, I didn't see the full trailer, was that um basically all of these relationships were ending in the boyfriend's death. But what you're saying
No,
is
yeah,
like it's going back through, these people are dying, and it's like going in order of how
right.
she dated them.
Right, like there's the guy from college and they haven't seen him in 5 years, but then he
Uh-huh.
dies and then, the next one does. And so then it's kind of a
Mm,
game of her going and trying to warn them and trying to figure out why it's happening. And is it, a stalker? Is it some other, something else?
right.
It's just a good time. It's just a cute show. Pretty low stakes in terms of like the big mystery of it all.
Except for the 8 deaths.
Well, yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, that.
But yeah,
Inter-
it was fun. I
yeah,
liked it.
it does seem interesting, and obviously Stephanie Shu, more, more
Yeah,
Stephanie Shu,
yeah,
please. Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah. Um, very interesting. That one, it was one that when I saw the ad, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
This looks like a lot. With all the death scenes and
Hmm.
the but it's interesting too, obviously. You look at it and you're like, what's going on here? It's a mystery you want to solve, so I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was good. She's a pretty likable character, you know.
Hmm.
It was good.
Cool. Good on you, Peacock.
Yeah.
Got a good one. All right, now I'm up. I know this
All
is me
right.
next. There's no mystery now. I'm watching Severance because season 2
Hmm.
premieres tomorrow. Now, I watched this. I'm one of the sad souls that watched this as it published
Mm.
in 2022.
You've
So
been waiting.
finished. Oh my God, you have no idea. April 2022, I watched the finale. If you've never seen the show before, the finale will have your blood pressure up and your heart racing pretty much from minute one.
Mm.
It gets so intense, but um, another fascinating show with like a lot of mysteries afoot that like you just have to get answered.
Yeah.
And so with the strikes, with other like production challenges that they've had, this has taken a long time. And they're finally coming out with season 2, and the first few episodes come out January 17th, and then follow. They're not publishing all at once, which I also like.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll get to sit in it for a while. But are you familiar with the plot of Severance at all?
I'm like
Apple TV
I
queen over here.
I know. I know. I like will say I love Apple TV and I've never watched Severance.
Oh, fake fan.
I know. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I kind of think I might wait till the season's done and then I'll just like
Oh,
watch
okay.
both.
But if
We'll see.
you catch up right now,
Yeah,
watch
then I
it,
could, yeah.
then we discuss it as it unfolds, and that's even more fun.
Maybe I will. Maybe I can get it, watch it over the weekend and then I can be in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But I'm so proud of myself because I got my parents on it. I watched
Mm,
it while I was in Florida because I was like, hey, I've been wanting to watch this anyway, rewatch to refresh my
yeah.
memory. And I think you guys might find this interesting, and they have so far. I mean, I left Sunday, so they might have stopped watching, but who knows? And then also watched episode 4 with my roommate last night. He works nights, so he's on like a night schedule. When I got up this morning, he was like, "Finish Severance." I'm like, "Yeah, sick." So it's so good. Again, if you're not familiar, Adam Scott is the lead, and he and a few other people have undergone a procedure called severance, which implants a chip in the brain that when they go to this certain floor of their office building, their memories are sealed off on the outside. So they wake up in this conference room, they don't know who they are, and all they know is that they have a job to do. And they're assigned this job. The job is very like bizarre. It's non-specific. It's just a bunch of numbers on a screen that they're like dragging and putting into separate bins. You don't know what any of it represents.
Okay.
And it raises its own ethical dilemma that like the people on the outside wrestle with inside the show, which is like this severance procedure effectively creates two people, one who only knows the inside of that office building and another who lives the rest of their life and technically doesn't go to work or anything. So it's very interesting. It's very well done. Check out that production design, though. Really, really solid. I went to school with one of the production people in the production in the art department. Yeah, and very proud of her. It's just a really cool, interesting show. I wish I could tell you all about it. Just
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it, and then we can talk all about it.
Yeah, sounds
We'll
good.
spoil it on the next episode.
Okay, yeah.
Spoiler
Do
alert
not
for
watch
next
week if you
Yeah.
if you don't want Severance spoilers. We did it. We made it to another. There's actually no title card there. I'll go backwards. We did another episode. It's the first one of 2025. How do you feel?
Good, great. Excited for everything that's coming.
Just pressing forward.
Yeah.
And I again, I don't know what this SNL experience is going to bring, and I don't even know if Caroline's going to make it, but trust me,
I probably can't get a ticket anymore.
You should try.
I'll look.
You should try.
I'll look.
You just gotta give it a shot. But if that happens and I get a video out of it, you'll probably see a little bit of it, even though I'll be really embarrassed to do it. Oh, Caroline, it's always a blast. Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Hope you have a lovely, probably rest of January, I want to say. I don't
think probably.
Yeah, so.
We'll see.
Yeah. Stay warm out there, all right?
You too. Get ready for
keep that foot
my
healed.
weather headed your way.
Yeah, thanks for that. We were just talking about that before. It's like, Caroline's like, yeah, it's like 12 degrees here. And I'm like, well, okay, so I can get ready for that in a few days.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Coming my way.
It's terrible.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. And we'll see you next time that they announce an episode. Bye.